I spent years trying to manage my emotions. After so many failures in life and business, I repeatedly tried to force and push my way through them. And you know what? That is what kept me stuck. Because here's what nobody tells you about starting over in your life and business. The emotions you're trying to control are actually the keys to your breakthrough. And today I'm going to show you why everything that you've been taught about your emotions is kind of backwards. If you're rebuilding after failure and you feel that your emotions are all over the place, then good. That means that they're here, they're alive, and they're working. Let me explain. So here is what I was doing wrong for years. Every time anger came up, I would focus on gratitude. Every time grief showed up, I would focus on the lessons that I had learned. And every time fear knocked, then I'd force myself to take action anyway. I was treating my emotions like problems to solve, like obstacles between me now and the next chapter. And the more that I have tried to control them, manage them, direct them, the louder that they have got. And this just makes you more and more stuck. And this means that you can't make clear decisions, you keep people pleasing, you start projects and then you don't complete them. Honestly, when you are so busy trying to manage your feelings, it leaves you with very little energy to actually start over in life and rebuild again. And this is where the shift happens. When you stop asking, how can I control this emotion? And start asking, what can this emotion show me, teach me? That's when everything changes, because emotions are not obstacles to you starting over in your life and business. They're data and they are signals pointing you to exactly what you need to do next. So today I'm breaking down the 4 emotions that everyone needs to understand when they're starting over in their life. And I'm going to show you how to stop managing your emotions and start using them as the power tools that they are. Because once you understand what the emotion is actually trying to do for you, everything gets clearer. Let's dive in. So there are 4 core emotions that I found show up when you're starting over in life, and each one has a specific job. Let's start with the one that most of us try our hardest to suppress: anger. Most of us were taught that anger is something that is unproductive, bad, or something to manage, especially if you're someone who prides themselves on being calm, rational, professional. But here's what I've learned. Anger is not something that is trying to make you be destructive. Anger is trying to show you where your boundaries have been violated. 2 years ago, when my business failed and my relationship with my partner ended, at first, I didn't feel anything. I was just numb and in denial. But sure enough, in time, the anger really started to rise at my ex-partner, at myself. And I kept trying to journal it away, meditate it away, reframe it away, until one day I just stopped and I said, okay, what is this anger really trying to tell me? What is this anger protecting? And it really hit me. Anger was trying to protect my time, my energy, and my values. Honestly, I'd spent years tolerating disrespect, saying yes when I meant no, and letting people cross boundaries that I didn't even know that I had. Anger is not a problem. Anger shows you what you simply will not tolerate anymore. So now when anger shows up in my life, I do not suppress it, I decode it. I ask, what boundary is anger trying to set for me right now? And suddenly, anger becomes one of the most useful tools in your toolkit. It's the emotion that helps you say no. It's the emotion that helps you walk away from opportunities that are not for you. And that really helps you advocate for yourself when you're rebuilding your life and business all over again. Next up is grief. And I'm not just talking about the grief of losing someone. I'm talking about the grief over your own old identity, your old business, your old self, your old life, your old business ideas, your old version of success. I really think that grief is the emotion that we try to rush through when we're starting over, and we can tell ourselves things like, oh, I should be over this by now. I need to move forward. I need to focus on what's next for me. But grief is not trying to keep you stuck. Grief is trying to show you what mattered to you. In every business idea that I have undertaken, the meaning behind it has always been for you to do what you want to do in life, to make money doing it, and to run that business and run that career as your true self. And yes, when my last business ended, I was grieving the amount of money that I lost in that process. I was grieving the lack of success, but deep down what I was really grieving was this old version of me that believed she was living the life she always wanted, when really I wasn't. I really had to grieve the stories that I had been telling myself about who I was and what I was doing, what my relationship was, when actually none of it was true. And thank you, grief. Grief revealed to me about what really matters to me. Most of all, I value creativity, I value truth, and I really value freedom. And in my previous life, in my previous business, I was suppressing a lot of these things. So let grief show you what you treasure and what you value, so you can take those things forward with you into your next chapter. So what do you want to carry forward? Tell me in the comments below. And when you understand what you're actually grieving, you understand what needs to become part of your next chapter. So don't rush this grief. Buried within it is the map that's going to show you what you need to go forward. All right, the next one. Let's talk about fear. This is the big one, right? The fear of failing again, the fear of making the wrong choice, the fear of wasting more time. Most advice tells you to feel the fear and just do it anyway. Yeah, just push through, be brave. And sometimes, yes, that's really useful. But sometimes fear is not trying to stop you. Fear is actually trying to clarify to you what you care about protecting. And as it got closer and closer to me knowing that I really was ready to put myself out there again, then yeah, fear started to show up. I started to think about what it would mean to be really visible again online, showing people actually how much I had failed in my life and business, and being vulnerable. This channel is very honest, and I will tell you all of the failures that I have lived through, because I know it's not only for the benefit of myself, but very much for the benefit of you. I walk through the fire, then I tell you how it went. And if this resonates with you, then yeah, maybe this fear in you has been saying you're not ready yet, or you need to study more, or you need to do A, B, and C before you can do D. Then you'll be ready. But hand on heart here, when I actually look at failing again, yeah, I'm not scared of failing again. The fear actually goes deeper than that. I'm afraid of building something again that doesn't align with who I am now. I'm afraid of repeating old patterns that don't serve me and don't serve you. I'm afraid of success, which I create by betraying my own values. But my dear friend Danielle recently gave me this mantra for my own self, and I think sharing it with you will also help you. And this is the mantra that she gave me: all the so-called failures in my life made me into my biggest success. Because of this, I know I can never fail again. Oh yeah. So know that fear is simply protecting you from something very important within you: your integrity, your alignment, and what really matters to you. And when you understand what your fear is protecting, you can make decisions that honor your values instead of just trying to push through blindly. So the next time you feel fear, do not override that baby. Just ask it, what are you trying to protect? And the answer will tell you what is non-negotiable for you in your next chapter. Okay, the last emotion, shame. This really is the emotion that no one talks about. Shame can be heavy. Shame can be very difficult. It's almost like a secret weight that we're carrying, right? That we may share these other emotions with friends, but yeah, shame, this is a big one. When I think of shame and my own experiences, shame would say to me, you failed, you're a failure, you should have known better, what are people going to think about you? And I think this is what makes shame feels so tricky. It really can feel like the truth when we hear those thoughts. At the time, it can feel like the final verdict on who you are. But if you are anything like me, you know that you are a cat with 9 lives and many more. Failure is never the end of your journey. Never. Shame is what I call your integrity compass, because shame shows you where you really got misaligned and how you can recalibrate to move forward in a much healthier and true way. For me, when I really sat with my shame and started listening to it, it wasn't a shame about failing. It was actually a shame of me compromising myself so much in order to fit in with others' ideas or expectations or needs. The times when I said yes when I meant no. The times when I did things but really honestly was not feeling it inside. Shame will really show you, like, this is where you betrayed yourself. It shows you the actions that you did that did not align with your values. And yeah, it's painful, but it's also incredibly key information. So now that you understand what these 4 key emotions are trying to tell you, in true failure flip style, we're not just going to learn about stuff, we're going to put it into action. So I really encourage you to get some tools together right now. We're going to do some exercises together, okay? I recommend grabbing some pen and paper or the notes app on your phone. You do what you got to do, but let's do this. So what I've noticed is that we become really good at performing certain emotions whilst we are actually feeling another, and we suppress that other emotion. We can get very good at performing gratitude, resilience, optimism, because that's what people expect from someone who's moving forward, right? But underneath, we may be suppressing some other emotions. Rage, for example, grief, terror, shame. And that gap between what we suppress and what we show, that's where we get stuck. So we're going to do a little emotional audit together, and I will go first, okay? So the emotion that I performed every time I failed for a long time was definitely gratitude. I would say, I'm so grateful for these lessons. I'm grateful for the growth. I'm grateful it happened when it did. And look, yeah, some of that stuff was really real. But I know that I was also using gratitude as a shield and as a way to avoid feeling the harder stuff. What I was really suppressing was rage at the people who didn't show up for me, and also at myself for not showing up for me. I suppressed anger for a long time because I thought that it made me look ugly, unreasonable, unladylike, ungrateful, not mature enough. But when I really finally let myself feel that rage, here's what it told me. You tolerated disrespect for years. You prioritized other people's comfort over your own boundaries. You betrayed yourself repeatedly in order to keep the peace. And that message, that was the breakthrough that I really needed. Once I saw this clearly, then I could make very different choices in my life. Setting boundaries, advocating for myself. I could rebuild in a way that really honors my values and doesn't go against them. So rage isn't the problem. Suppressing the rage is the problem. Okay, so it's now your turn. I'm going to take you through 3 questions, and these questions are going to really reveal to you about what emotions you've been showing, what emotions you've been repressing, and what the key message is in the middle. Okay, so question 1, what emotion am I performing now? What emotion are you mostly showing to people? What do you say when people ask you how you're doing? Is it gratitude, optimism, confidence, resilience? I want you to write it down. No judgment, just write it down right now. And if you need to pause this video, then go for it, okay? Question 2, what emotion are you avoiding? What is going on here? What is coming up for you that you are immediately trying to redirect, manage, or journal away? Is it anger, grief, shame, fear, resentment? Again, write it down, name it, and there's no need to take action on this yet. Just see what's going on here. And question 3, what is this emotion trying to tell me? So this really is where the magic happens. I want you to give the time and space for this suppressed emotion to speak. If we actually try and stop managing this emotion for a second and let it say what it has to say, what is it saying? What boundary does it want you to set? What value does it want you to honor? What misalignment does it want you to correct? Write whatever comes up. It doesn't matter how messy it is. If it's uncomfortable, it's uncomfortable. Write down what that emotion is trying to tell you right now. And when you're ready, we can move on. So what you have just done now in this mini exercise with me is that you've stopped trying to manage your emotions and you're now using them as power tools. Because once you see the gap between what you have been showing the world and what you're actually feeling, you can't unsee it. And this clarity this is what is going to move you forward. So for the next week, let's do a little mini challenge together. Whenever and wherever an uncomfortable emotion comes up for you this week, do not suppress it, talk to it. You can do this when you're in the supermarket line. You can do this as you're driving the car, wherever it comes up. Just say, hey, what are you trying to tell me? And then listen, really listen. Because remember, your emotions are not the obstacles to your next chapter. They are the map to your next chapter. And the more that you learn to decode them, then the clearer your path is going to become. And if you want more help with rebuilding your life and business after failure, check out the links below. I have different services for the different stages that you are at. You'll be able to receive the emotional and practical tools that I wish I had when I was starting over. Everything is linked in the description below. Okay, up next, I'm breaking down the mistakes that keep us stuck in analysis paralysis. Understanding your emotions is step one, but how can we make decisions when everything feels so uncertain? That's step two. You're not going to want to miss it. I'll see you in the next video.